Welcome to the Solemn Vanguard channel. Today we have stream reveals once again. As always, if you still need to pick up anything overdress, whether it's the new Lyrical Monasterio stuff or set 2, maybe even some clan selection, is that up yet? I don't actually know. Go to 50cards.shop and use the code Solemn for a discount. Now, 4 reveals. First of all, we have this full big art of like the Lyrical Monasterio boss unit. I think it's from the deck SD06. Yeah, that's the deck. For some reason, you have the unit and then the sword and the shield also has a name. So I don't know if those are going to be like units that you need to get together to do something bigger, or maybe the sword and the shield are orders. I don't actually know, I'm just guessing. Overall, cool art. I know a lot of people aren't into Bermuda Triangle, but then somehow are into Lyrical Monasterio now that they're no longer mermaids. That's interesting to see. I've always played Bermuda even in premium, so I just watch these reveals regardless. So then we got the perfect guards. So as you know, the perfect guards got that new skill where if your hand is running empty, they no longer require a discard. And so all of these 5 actually have that skill. Now, in terms of overdress, this just means that, cool, you have a choice. You know, you could play one of each, or maybe you prefer the art of the girl with glasses, or maybe you prefer the art of the bunny, and you can just max out on those. You can forget about the rest. However, what's interesting here is that this is pretty solid for Highlander Premium. Because now, if you wanted to run the overdress PG 4 off, you know, with a special skill when your hand is running empty, now you can. You can run 4 copies of that skill, but just all with a different name and still have the proper Highlander rule where, you know, everything needs to have a different name. Then we also saw the over trigger for Lyrical Monasterio, and that one also has different arts, but first let's go over the skill. It says the typical over trigger stuff, we already know that, but then the additional effect is during this fight, you get, during your turn, all your rear guards get power plus 10,000. So that means any rear, forever, gets 10k for the whole fight, at least during your own turn, so no defensively. That is incredible for anything that multi-attacks even remotely. Now, we haven't really seen much lyrical stuff just yet, so I don't know how much multi-attack will be doing. I think I saw one grade 2, that's essentially like the old G-card Spica, that does create multi-attacks, because when it attacks and is boosted and you have a specific boss, you can call something from hand or something like that. So I'm guessing multi-attack is part of the deck, and it's great to just have 10k on top of that, but like the previous cards, this is actually interesting in premium specifically because Bermuda already does a bunch of multi-attacks. Whether you are playing the Riviere deck with your Tross doing stuff, with your Tiroas doing even more Tross, or you're playing like the Harmony Melody stuff where you keep bouncing and multi-attacking, you're striding into that Shandy that then also creates multi-attacks, you're always multi-attacking, even with Megiddo, for example. So 10,000 on all your rears in that context is even better. Now, of course, you don't really have a way to force this, so this is still random, but at least you know, hey, if you're hitting your over trigger in Bermuda Premium, it's gonna be very, very strong. So then to check out the other arts, once again, these are different names, but over triggers are limited to 1, so what can you do? But at least you have some choices. Personally, I'm a fan of this pink-ish with blue demonic one. That's pretty cool. But for the people who really like mermaids, you also still have your I don't really know the name, but those 2 mermaids, if you want to keep the aesthetic going. So then we have our Dimension Police cards. So we have the Heal Guardian. It has the same skill as all the other Heal Guardians. So this reveal doesn't do much beyond showing you, hey, look, the art, and we all have the same skill. Then we have the Grade 1 that says auto. When this unit is placed on V, reveal a normal unit from your hand and put it on the bottom of your deck, draw a card. If you put a Grade 3, draw another card. That essentially is like, put 1 back, draw 2. That's a hard plus. Especially because you now have Heal Guardians and you were already running a bunch of grade 3s. So the high grade 3 count of DP basically means you're always going to be able to resolve this skill. Now its second skill is act on R once per turn, cost Soul Blast 1, choose one of your Vanguards and it gets power plus 5k until end of turn for each force marker on your V. So this is just buffing your Vanguard even more for the amount of force markers it has. Then the grade 2 says auto when this unit is rode upon by a grade 3, cost discard a card from your hand, get an imaginary gift force and put that marker on your V. So this is basically like the Astral Poets where you're getting a bunch of extra force markers from your rearguard skills for no reason. So this is already leading up to the fact that Daikaiser will get some value from the fact that you have multiple force markers. And then continuous on R during your turn, if your V has a force marker, this unit gets power plus 10k. And if there are 3 or more force markers, it gets power plus 10k again. So once again, you're just getting value for making more and more force markers, kind of like the Astral Poet thing in Genesis. Finally, we have Daikaiser. So this first has a continuous skill on V. If this unit's power is 35 or greater, this unit gets critical +1. Judging from these other skills, that 35 is just always gonna be met. It's so easy. You know, he generates a force marker, then the grade 2 also generates a force marker, then you boost and you're there. It's that easy. So you're always getting a crit on Daikaiser, basically. Then auto on V and front row R. At the end of the battle, a grade 3 was revealed for your drive check. If your opponent called a total of 1 sentinel to G for that battle, cost counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's vanguards and deal a damage. At the end of that turn, if this unit is on R, put this unit into your soul. And then final skill, auto, when this unit is rode upon, call this card to your front row R, get an imaginary gift force, and put that marker on your V. So I'm having a very tough time trying to wrap my head around this skill, like how it will play out. If you first listen to the skill, you're like, wow, this is super broken. Like, you just have a few of these, you resolve them, and you start pinging your opponent for damage like crazy the second they dare to sentinel. But then you think more about it and you try to play it out in your head, and you're like, well, they can use 2 sentinels or they can use no sentinels, and suddenly this does nothing, so maybe it's actually way too fair. But then you think, hey, this guy gets so much power, they're going to be forced into sentinels and they are not going to be able to guard with 2 sentinels all the time, so maybe this is super strong. And so now I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't actually know how to judge this card. I really think we're gonna have to see in testing how good this actually is. However, what I do find fascinating is in Premium, once again, this is gonna be great no matter what, because you can just play your regular stride game, and if this is just on your front row R, you're already making stuff awkward for your opponent. Like, the previous Dimension Police Premium deck was already good, and now you just have a new rear guard that says, hey, we're gonna ping a damage if you dare to sentinel. That is big. That is really big. So overall, for like V Premium, I have no clue how good this is gonna be. For Premium, I have a feeling it's gonna make DP much better, and it's already a solid deck, but I just can't imagine how much better. It's really, really tough to judge right now. So if you're a DP main, feel free to let me know your ideas about this card in the comments down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, pre-order your cards and stuff from 50cards.shop using the code Solemn, and I will see you soon. Ciao.